First thing we have got to do, whether or not I'm president, is to shut this president up right now, because he is undermining the doctors and the scientists who are trying to help the American people. It is unacceptable for him to be blabbering with unfactual information which is confusing the general public.
Hello, and welcome back to The Honest Left. Last night, we had what possibly could be the final debate of the Democratic primary, depending on how votes go, if Bernie drops out or not. And let me say right off the bat, this debate was far, far better than the last debate, the South Carolina debate. And it has actually been quite a good while since that debate. And obviously, we only had 2 people on the stage instead of 6 or 7. And so I think right off of that fact right there, having the 2 people up, Bernie, Biden, 1v1, was far, far better than having the 6 or 7 other people up there. And also, one interesting thing too was there was no live audience because of the coronavirus crisis. I think not having the live audience made it a lot better to watch as well. I think without all the audience interruptions, the cheering, the booing, whatever, both candidates were able to better state their case and get more out without all the interruption. The beginning part of the debate was all about what would you do right now if you were president to handle this crisis. And both candidates made their side very clear. And Joe Biden, the beginning of this debate was grinding my gears a lot because Joe Biden was fear-mongering, and it was very obvious. And he was doing it a lot, and he was using the word crisis a lot. And he was strictly talking about, okay, this is what we would do right now. And, you know, we would have funding set aside. We would bring in funding to be able to have people get testing and treatment for free. Obviously, under Trump, we have free testing, not free treatment. And he said he would be in the Situation Room every day, assessing the situation, seeing what to do, like him and Obama did during the H1N1 and Ebola crises. And fun fact, Joe Biden actually called H1N1 N1H1, and he called Ebola the Africa thing. So that was nice. He said he would be building emergency hospitals. He says they have defense money that they could use to do that. And basically just said assess the situation every day and see where we need to go from there. Now, Bernie's approach was obviously, okay, yes, we did need help right now. We would need to make sure that people don't have to worry about paying for treatment if they are sick, that they're not afraid to go to the doctor because they don't have money to go to the doctor. Everything would be free and covered. And obviously in this he did reference, you know, he supports Medicare for all. Medicare for all would be a system in which under any situation you could go to the doctor and you wouldn't have to worry about paying thousands of dollars in medical debt. But Bernie also made a point to say that, you know, yes, we would need to help people right now, but beyond this, we need to address the problems that have led to this crisis being the crisis that it is. We would need to address certain things that have led to this state of panic and the state of confusion and chaos that we have in the United States right now. And he also said that we need to right now shut the president up because he's constantly downplaying and denying the science of the disease and just trying to hold it all together by just lying through his teeth. Now, every time that Bernie would mention, you know, post-crisis we have problems to address because the crisis opened our eyes to serious faults within the system, which a lot of people already had their eyes opened up. But if people don't have their eyes open up now, they're just going to be blind forever because ultimately coronavirus, COVID-19, has shown the weaknesses in our healthcare system and our economy, and it has shined a very bright light on those things. But every time Bernie would bring that up, it would go back to Joe, and Joe would say, guys, oh my God, we don't worry about that. We are in a crisis. We're in a crisis. Oh my God. And, yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. Like I said, Joe was fear-mongering so much. Every time Bernie would talk about, okay, beyond this crisis, it has shown us we need to do this and we need to do that. And then Joe would just be like, oh my God, we just need to be scared right now because we're in a crisis, guys. Oh my God. And it was a bit ridiculous. And throughout this whole exchange, my blood was just boiling because I saw exactly what Joe was doing. And Joe was doing the same thing that all the liberal media is doing, and they're just fear mongering, and they're just saying, guys, oh my god, you need to be scared, this is so scary, guys, oh my god. And Joe was just reiterating that same thing. And for people that watch these media companies on a regular basis, that would appeal to them, because Joe's saying the same thing that this media company that they for some reason trust is saying. But that is not the correct thing to do. Okay, Bernie's saying, look guys, yes, deal with the crisis right now. Okay, let's get funding in place so people can go to the doctor. Let's make sure we have enough doctors to treat people. We have enough tests. We have enough, ventilators and stuff in the hospital for people that are having breathing issues. But let's also say, okay, our healthcare system is deeply flawed, and this has shined a big light on that. Let's fix the healthcare system. Our economy is so overly reliant on trade from outside sources, and this has shined a light on that. Let's deal with that. But Joe was just ignoring everything like that, and he was just playing into the fear that the media has instilled in the American people. And that, obviously, is fundamentally a wrong thing to do. That is not leadership, that is fear-mongering. It's like the opposite of what Trump is doing. Trump is trying to say, "Oh, don't be afraid. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's great. It's tremendous. Everything is tremendous. These companies, they're going to be tremendous and help us out." And that's not okay, because that's not true. There is a certain amount of fear that you will have in the situation, and we need to be honest about that. But also saying that you need to be scared above all else, scared for your life and scared about everything because everything's just going to explode and we're all going to die, is also not okay. And Bernie took a good middle ground here. He was not trying to fearmonger. He was mentioning, yes, we are in a crisis, but he was also, mentioning the future. He wasn't purely focused on be afraid in this situation right now. And to me, that resonated a lot more. Obviously, I am a Bernie supporter, but I thought the approach Biden was taking was just fundamentally a wrong thing to do. And here's a couple clips.
But there are three pieces to this. First of all, I have to take care of those who, in fact, are exposed or likely to be exposed to the virus. And that means we have to do testing. We have to get the testing kits up and ready. I would have the World Health Organization. I'd take advantage of the test kits they have available to us. Even though the president says 1 million or more are coming, let's just get all the tests we can done as quickly as we can.
What we have got to do is move aggressively to make sure that every person in this country finally understands that when they get sick with the coronavirus, that all payments will be made, that they don't have to worry about coming up with money for testing. They don't have to worry about coming up with money for treatment. This is an unprecedented moment in American history. Now, I obviously believe in Medicare for all. I will fight for that as president. But right now, in this emergency, I want every person in this country to understand that when you get sick, you go to the doctor.
We've been through this before. We've been through this before with dealing with the viruses the N1H15, as well as what happened in Africa. We provided these hospitals dealing with these great pandemics, and we were able to do it quickly, and people would have a place to go. But we also have to provide the equipment to protect the first responders, and that's not being done either.
Jake, let's be honest and understand that this coronavirus pandemic exposes the incredible weakness and dysfunctionality of our current healthcare system.
What I would do is what we did in our administration. I would call a meeting in the Situation Room of all the experts in America dealing with this crisis. I would sit them down and I would do exactly what we did then. What is it that we need? Listen to the experts. What do we need? And with all due respect to Medicare for all, you have a single payer system in Italy. It doesn't work there.
Okay, so moving beyond them talking about COVID-19, the coronavirus crisis, a big part of the debate was Joe Biden's lies. Joe Biden was lying through his teeth over and over again during this debate. And why? Why? Everything that Bernie was saying, Joe, look, you said many, many times that you wanted to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and veteran services. And Joe repeatedly said, no, I did not say that. I fought for Social Security. I fought for this and I fought for that. When there is so much proof There is so much video, audio evidence of Joe Biden talking about cutting these things, especially Social Security. And look, this is a Bernie ad, but it's audio recording of Joe Biden saying he wants to cut Social Security, and he has tried many times. Here's that.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Okay, so apart from the side that is a Bernie ad, there's also many videos of Joe talking about cutting Social Security. And he was just lying. He was just lying through his teeth. And Bernie literally rolled out a red carpet for him and started giving him a little nudge. And he was like, dude, just tell the truth. I'm giving you an easy out here. Just tell the truth to the American people that you have been on the Senate floor for whatever reason saying we need to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and veteran services. And Joe would just not admit to it. And so Bernie eventually just got fed up. And he's like, guys, look, go to the YouTube, and look this up. You will find it, and you will. It takes one, Joe Biden cut Social Security. You put that in, you're going to see many videos of him talking about cutting Social Security and proudly talking about the fact that he's tried to cut Social Security 3 or 4 times in the past. At another point, Bernie called out Joe's super PACs. And Joe was, I don't exactly remember what Joe was saying beforehand, but Bernie was like, look, I'm not going to join you on that. Why don't you join me on this? Why don't you get rid of your super PACs? Why don't you get rid of the super PACs that are running very nasty ads about me? And Joe's response, and look, this is just, why are you lying so much, dude? He's like, Bernie, why don't you get rid of the 9 super PACs that you have? What? Bernie he has no super PACs. And Bernie even said, 9 super PACs? I have no super PACs. And Joe goes, oh, you want me to list them? And Bernie's like, yeah, go ahead, list them. And Joe goes, oh man, give me a break. What? You don't even have anything to back up your lie with? You're just going to throw that out there, and then when you said, hey, do you want me to list them? And Bernie says, yeah, go ahead. And you're like, oh, you want me to list them? Oh, why would you want me to list them? It's not like I just said I could list them or anything. It was just ridiculous. That exchange especially, I thought, was just absolutely absurd. Anybody who knows Bernie Sanders knows he has no super PACs. The only PACs that he has, and there are very few, are union PACs. These are PACs straight from union workers. Now, one could argue he doesn't even need those, and we should just have completely small dollar donation elections. But, I mean, it's a union PAC. It's a collection of workers that are giving him money, common people, okay, that's fine. He has no super PACs, Joe. Why would you even say that? You backed yourself into a corner where you look so dumb for saying that, dude. And then, just to continue this whole charade that Joe's trying to put up, Bernie starts calling Joe out for helping to write the bankruptcy bill from the 90s that included freezing Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and veteran services, again. And Joe says, I had no part in writing that bill. Again, there's video evidence. There is a video from the Senate, 1995, where Utah Senator Orrin Hatch is saying, thank you to Joe Biden, and he mentions one other senator. I don't exactly remember who it is, but he says, thank you, Joe Biden, for all your hard work in helping to write this bankruptcy bill. There's evidence that you wrote the bill. You helped write the bill. Why are you denying it? And I hope for people, I really hope for people that were watching this debate that you fact check this stuff. Because Joe lied through his teeth so many times in this debate, it makes my head spin. How many times that he just blatantly lied. And it was actually to the point where I was starting to think, like, maybe Joe just really forgot that he did all this stuff. We can obviously see that Joe's brain is not in tip-top shape. Like, maybe he just legitly thought that he didn't do all this stuff. Like, he just forgot about all of it. Well, somebody sit Joe Biden down, take him to the YouTube, and show him all the things that he did that he says he did not do. Please, somebody do that for him, please. And then, just to top it all off, Joe starts defending the big bank bailout of the 2008 financial crisis. He starts defending bailing out the banks, this thing that has been proven was a bad idea. Okay? And he's sitting here defending bailing out the banks. He's saying, well, if we didn't bail out the banks, everything would have went down the tube. Okay, Joe, why didn't you bail out the people who actually needed money? All right, these big banks, they have so many billionaire friends. They could get the money from literally anywhere, like that. And you gave them the money, and you left all the people at the bottom to scrounge for themselves. And him saying this, him defending this decision, shows his utter lack of knowledge on this whole situation. It shows that he is openly denying that decision, that the 2008 financial crisis and the decisions that were made after were what led to Donald Trump being elected. It was what led to people taking a chance on a billionaire who's a pathological liar. Those decisions, Joe, is what led to that. If you don't understand that, then this country is screwed. If you have a presidential candidate, the guy who's leading the Democratic nomination, does not understand the problems that led to where we are now, we are screwed. Again, if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it. And Joe showed a complete lack of understanding in this situation by defending the Wall Street and bank bailouts of 2008. Ridiculous. Okay, so moving on from this, I actually do have one more lie that Joe said here, but they moved on to talking about climate change. And again, having just two guys up there makes this debate so much more watchable and so much more insightful, because they obviously had very set positions and they offered a very clear choice on which one to pick here. Now, Joe did lie starting off here. And he said he had a very big hand in the Paris Climate Agreement, which isn't true. It was UN leaders and Obama and other leaders of the other countries that were involved. But his position was basically, okay, we'll go back to what we were doing before Trump. That's it. That's all we're going to do about climate change. We're going to re-enter the Paris Climate Agreement. We're going to reinstate regulations that Trump got rid of, including, how far you're allowed to travel, things like that, just weird things. But anyways, and that was his whole position. And it was saying, look, and this is Joe's whole bid for president is, let's go back to before Trump. That is all he wants. He does not want real fundamental change. He just wants to go back, make America 2014 again. And that was his whole position on climate change. And Bernie came out and said, look, that is nowhere near enough. And Joe was putting such a big emphasis on the Paris Climate Agreement. All the Paris Climate Agreement says is if you have a certain number of these greenhouse gas and fossil fuel type stuff that are going to screw up the atmosphere, you're going to pay money into this agreement. There's going to be financial repercussions if you have these things. And Bernie sits here and says, look, that is not nearly enough. We need real fundamental change. The scientists have said that they underestimated the impact that this is having on the Earth, on the atmosphere. And we need to hold fossil fuel industry accountable because they know that this is bad and they are constantly lying and saying that it does not affect climate change. And so we need to hold them responsible. And Bernie was even saying we need to hold them criminally responsible for the lies that they are telling. And Biden says, well, no more subsidies for fossil fuel companies, guys. No more subsidies. So everything Biden is saying here in climate change, and this shows the very clear difference in their approach here. Everything Biden is saying is, okay, we're going to have financial repercussions, but we're going to keep these things in place. And you're just going to pay, you're just going to pay a little fee for destroying the planet, essentially, is what Joe Biden is saying. And Bernie's saying, no, we need to spend as much money as we can. We need to take money from the military and we need to invest in green energy. We need to have the Green New Deal. We need to create millions of jobs through the Green New Deal, and we need to focus on renewable energy. And we need to say, hey, fossil fuel industry, you're gone. You're out. Bye. You're not going to keep making billions of dollars in profits while destroying our planet and leaving no future for our children and our grandchildren. And Joe just says, well, they're going to pay a little more money. They can still exist. That's fine. Same with the insurance industry. We'll have Obamacare again. Great. Because Obamacare was such a great plan to begin with. Overall, what I thought about this debate, I thought it was a very good debate. And Joe Biden was pretty sharp, and he presented his arguments very well. Obviously, I disagree with his arguments, but he wasn't up there, like having his brain melt like he has been for the past couple weeks in his rallies. But I think what this debate showed, and this is good, this is what debates are supposed to propose. We have a very clear choice to make. Okay? Joe Biden's whole thing is make America 2014 again, right? Forget about Trump. Let's go back to normal. And Bernie's whole thing is, okay, well, normal is what got Trump elected in the first place. It's what created the unrest. It's what created the anger amongst working people and what got Trump elected. And many liberals have said, many liberal voters have said, if it is not Bernie Sanders, I will vote for Trump. Because Trump better represents my anger and my unrest than Joe Biden does. And that is very true, right? Joe Biden's whole thing, right? Let's just go back to the Obama years. Wasn't it great back in the Obama days? Well, it wasn't, Joe. And you just have a complete lack of understanding of this country if you believe that people want that. Obviously, there are some people who want that. That's fine. They don't want to sit and worry about what decisions Trump is making and what things he's going to tweet and what he's going to say in his speeches. But there's a very large majority of people, and Trump getting elected shows this very clearly. People will jump the fence. Hey, if the Democrats, the people who are supposed to be representing what these people want, what working class people want, if they're not going to represent it, well, they'll jump the fence. They'll go back to Trump again. And the Democratic Party has pigeonholed themselves here very hard because the candidate that they all got behind is a joke. And again, I made a long rant about this. I'm not going to rant very much about it again, but why are you propping up a guy who in so many videos, in so many speeches and debates and rallies and all these things can barely talk? Why would you prop that up? Again, I'm not going to rant about that very much. But it presented the choice. Do you want to go back to quote-unquote normal? Or do you want fundamental change in the country? Do you want an economy that works for everybody and not just the wealthy? Do you want us to do things that basically every other major country in the world has done? Okay, a single-payer healthcare system, tuition-free college. Do you want these things? Or do you want to go back to 2014? And in my last debate review, I graded the candidates. I'm not going to do that here because, look, this debate was very well done. And the moderators, I thought, did very well as well, which is good because the last CNN debate was utter garbage. But this debate, they even had a few questions that were framed from a progressive mindset for Bernie and for Biden. So I thought the moderators did a very good job. And like I said, without the audience, without, 30 Democrats debating up on the stage, it was a very good political debate. And you know what? After the debate, did Biden was trending, and this just crossed my mind here. There was one point in the debate, in a political debate, where Biden said, look, I don't want to get into the back and forth of politics here. You're in a primary political debate and you're saying you don't want to debate. Okay, but I'm getting off track here. Again, the choice was very clearly made. And another interesting part of this debate is Biden said he committed to having a woman as his running mate if he wins the nomination, having a woman vice president. I wonder who that could be. Biden started saying he supports, parts of Elizabeth Warren's tuition-free college bill. Elizabeth Warren started switching up on her progressive ideas throughout the campaign. Elizabeth Warren conveniently dropped out around the same time everyone else was dropping out to get behind Biden, but did not endorse Biden or Bernie. Who could it be? Okay, but anyways, like I said, I'm not going to grade this debate because the whole point of debate is to clearly state your argument and state your side. And both candidates did that very well. And they gave us a very clear choice to make, and they left it in our hands. And that's what it is. Again, what do you want? Do you want 2014, or do you want us to get with the program and look for the future, like every other country in the world has been doing? That is our choice. Now, I don't make it any secret which side I am on here. Progressive ideas are what I believe in. That's what I want. Medicare for all, tuition-free college, an economy that works for everybody. That is what I am for. Bernie stated it very well in the debate last night. He did a good job of putting forth the ideas in a very clear and easy to understand way. But the choice is ours. So, if you are supporting these progressive ideas, tell your friends. Explain to your family why we want these things, why they are important to us, and really to everybody. That's what it's all about. We have to do our part. And Young Vote, unfortunately, has been very bad. Bernie Sanders, I really believe, if the Young Vote was what he expected it to be, he would be leading right now. And he would probably have a very big lead. But unfortunately, the Young voters are very disenfranchised. They're very discouraged from voting because they feel like the system has failed them, and they don't have a lot of hope that it will start working for them. So they're not voting. And that sucks. That really sucks. But what is shown throughout this election, young voters, they support the progressive ideas. They support tuition-free college. They support Medicare for all. The future looks bright. But what we have right now is the older generation that is rejecting these ideas. They're voting for Joe Biden. And they are doing it in very, very large numbers compared to the young voters. So look, don't be discouraged. Nothing worth doing is easy. Nothing worth doing doesn't come without a very big fight. And we cannot control who are our opponent. We cannot control the forces that work against us. Okay? We have a media empire working against us. We have an army of politicians working against us. All that means we have to fight harder. Because sooner or later, the power of the people always prevails. Always. And at what point do we get fed up? At what point does the true revolution begin? That is up to us. That is up to us. That is in our hands. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to keep up to date. Let's keep the fight going. Let's take it to them. Thank you for watching.